We often come across the term stress. We have seen it in the news, heard about it on the radio. Our friends, coworkers confide in us when they feel stressed. We ourselves have told people that we are stressed. Some of you might be stressed right now. But what is stress really? What are the biological processes underlying it? What are the long-term effects? And more importantly, how do we cope with stress? Join me as I search for answers to these questions and more. In this episode, I share 5 facts about stress you need to know. Let's start with what is stress. Let us take a look at the symptoms of stress. Now, I'm sure when you tell someone you are stressed, you must have also gone through one or more of these symptoms. Be it insomnia, where you are unable to sleep, or you see that there is a change in your eating habits. You either eat too less or too much, or perhaps you're irritable or frustrated, and in some cases you might even face anhedonia, that is not getting pleasure in activities you typically enjoy. If you typically like to read, you may not enjoy that when you are stressed. So what is stress? Stress can be defined as a negative emotional experience. This is usually accompanied by predictable changes in one's behavior, physiology, cognition, and emotion that are aimed at coping with the stressful event, or at least accommodating to its effects. Which brings us to the next point, stressors. The stimuli that triggers a stress response is called a stressor. There are 2 types of stressors, processive stressors and systemic stressors. Processive stressors are those that involve information processing from various parts of the brain. Under processive stressors, we have psychogenic stressors and neurogenic stressors. Psychogenic stressors refer to the psychological stressors like the loss of a loved one, being bullied, and exam. Neurogenic stressors refer to the physical stressors like pain, stubbing a toe, headaches, and even major injuries. Both psychogenic and neurogenic stressors are tangible, meaning it can be seen, felt, touched. Systemic stressors, on the other hand, are those that we are not even conscious of and perhaps not even aware that we are experiencing stress. For example, diabetes. We are unaware of the glucose levels in our blood, so we have no idea. Characteristics of stressors.
No, that's it. I'm out. I can't deal with the stress you guys create.
There are common characteristics of the stimuli people usually classify as stressors. Negative events are more likely to be perceived as stressful. Uncontrollable or unpredictable events, ambiguous events, people who have a lot on their plate, overloaded with tasks, they are more likely to be stressed than people with fewer tasks to perform. People are more likely to be stressed about the aspects of life they are overly invested in. The experience of stress. The experience of stress is subjective and depends largely on each person's appraisal or their assessment of an event. First, the person can perceive their environment as either beneficial, neutral, or threat. This is called primary appraisal. The person then assesses their resources and abilities to determine if they are sufficient to meet the challenges of the threat. This is called the secondary appraisal. Now, based on both primary and secondary appraisal, if the environment is perceived to tax or exceed one's resources and abilities, then the event is perceived as stressful. People need not be exposed to a stressor in order to be stressed. Just the anticipation of an event happening, like a date, exams, or perhaps the after effects of a traumatic event like war, an assault, or a divorce, can lead to stress. Is there a reason why stress exists in nature? At times of stress, it does feel like our brain fails us, what is known as choking. And this is accompanied by feelings of anxiety, fear. What can possibly be the benefits of stress? In terms of evolution, the stress response is useful to an organism. Let's take the predator and its prey as an example. The prey stressor is the predator. These stresses themselves may be short-lived, but it could mean life and death. With its survival at stake, the prey elicits a stress response that utilizes all of its resources in a burst of energy in order to flee from its predator. Not all stress is bad. Research has shown that moderate stress can also promote personal growth and improve performance on tasks. This is called Eustress. Don't be mistaken, Eustress is a negative experience like any other forms of stress. The difference is that Eustress motivates you to work hard, better yourself, or to re-evaluate your approach in achieving your goal. Let me illustrate this with a few examples. Travel. Think of the stress we face right from planning, getting to the airport on time, excess baggage, and in recent times medical requirements. Then you hope you get seats together with your travel mates, insurance, having sufficient finances. But despite all this, you enjoy traveling. You learn something new about the country you're visiting. You make memories, and it makes it worthwhile. Another example is life changes. Think of the stress we have when we start college. You have to move to a new place, cook your own food, finish assignments on time, do your laundry, manage finances, your rent, groceries, textbooks, and of course dealing with difficult professors. And if you push through all these pressures, in the end, you benefit from all this. You're qualified, you meet some amazing people, maybe you meet the love of your life, and you learn to be a responsible adult. So there you have it, folks. 5 facts you need to know about stress. We are not done yet. We still have 2 more episodes in this series. So in case you haven't done so yet, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so that you are notified when the other parts are out. Well, that's it from me. I'll see you in the next one.